know you had that holy fuck moment with the Nick Cage thing. Have you ever had that with a band or artist, like on the music side, where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing a video with
KoRn was
these?
like, yeah, KoRn was
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, Freak on a Leash, and like they had some amazing, iconic videos that, and then to work with them, and director Andrew Baird's a friend, and it was just that was kind of a cool, and that was like a crazy one too because it was like very much like let's make it just fucked up, right? Like and crazy because it was just an exploration in darkness and in getting sinister.
Today on the show, we are joined with professional film and music video editor Nick Pezzillo. Right now, Nick had two absolute bangers to hit the theaters. One titled Butcher's Crossing, starring Nicolas Cage, and another thriller titled Your Lucky Day, about a robbery going wrong. Both these movies are fucking awesome. And around talking about making these films, we dive into Nick's career, how he got here, and hear about some iconic stuff he did in his music video life, from working with bands like KoRn, Arctic Monkeys, Portugal The Man, and much more. Nick is absolutely killing it, the hustle is real, and he also drops some amazing gems and advice for anybody who is into content creation and wants to take the next step in their video editing life. So yeah, let's get into it. Do you remember the first time you cut a video and was like, this is what I want to do with my life? Or
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, there was a Portugal the Man video that we did, and actually the director of Your Lucky Day, Dan Brown, directed it as well. And I think that one was I think it was called All Your Light, and it was like and it was just a I mean something where we had a creative goal, and I think we like just surpassed it for even ourselves, and like and the response to it was really cool, and it was somewhat had some narrative elements to it, and like and was just allowed to be weird and tense and intense at times. And I think that video for me was like, oh, okay, this could be fun. Just edit. I mean, I always enjoyed editing, but I think on that one it was also part of the challenge was like, how do we make it that much cooler and interesting? Like, there's a portion of the video where it's really just frames. It's like what you don't see is more than what you see, and like and it was just a matter of like picking which individual frames you're looking at any given moment. It was just a kind of a fun horror thriller, type, idea that we were playing with that ended up living it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of fall in love with all the projects, but that one stands out for sure as an early video. Yeah.
oh, that's super cool. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out after we talk, because a lot of my friends are really into that band as well. Like every time they come into the city, they're like at the concert, and it's just like, I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
why I haven't took the deep dive, but maybe this is my first step, because everybody's
There's
kept spoken at me about it.
Yeah, there's like, sometimes you work on, videos, and like, you have to listen to the song many, many times.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's great, and you're just like you're still digging it on like the 300th, go, and sometimes it's like the 10th round. But with that one it was like I could listen to it all, every time, and find, something good in it, something different that was like added to the audio experience for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I do like video editing as well, but more like lower budget stuff. And I totally get that when you got a song that's like great, it helps so much, like even for just your mental state. And I want to know, like, because like it seems like you're so deep and on demand as an editor for these films and music videos and stuff. When you have moments of burnout, like how do you refresh yourself? Because I notice myself, like sometimes I have like days where like I've just been on the computer too much, and it's just so hard to even like get the task done mentally, even if I want to do it. Do you have days like that? And do you have like any like methods or tips how to like kind of get out of that mindset to reset?
Yeah. So like, I mean, I think the micro breaks are great, but even like, you say on demand, and I appreciate that. But it's like, it's spanning many years of work, and the hustle is real. Like every project, is like, is a hustle to get and to and to then work on and work through. But I think that, just the day to day, it's like, I I feel like sometimes I might have like a unique ability to be able to just sit and work and get lost in it, right? And like
Yeah.
not, and where the other people can't do, because they just, I mean, they can't sit there for hours on end and not move around or think about other things. I mean, I take like, I'll work for like solid, like just get lost in something for an hour or two, but then I'll take a little micro break. I'll go on social media, unfortunately, and or it's like walk to the, get some water, a snack. It's just like, I think getting the blood moving, especially in like when you're in a kind of creatively challenged place, is always important. But no, I've never. I mean, I've just, it's like this with even like listening to music. I can listen to even the not so great ones over and over again. I just am able to zone out and still just to do the work. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't get to me. Maybe I'm just a really patient person, which would go against everything my wife would say. But but I don't know. It's like, because you do have to have that ability to really just like, you know be there for as long as you need to, because it won't get done unless you do the work. You know what I mean? And so, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's so cool that you can just lock in like that. And even I talk to all sorts of different artists on here, from musicians to comedians and other like actors and stuff. And they talk about a lot of them like this flow state they get into when they're in
Right.
their
Yeah.
craft. And it's almost like you lose track of time and just can like just zone in. And next thing you know, like you blink, it's like over and like almost like a blackout in a way. And it seems like maybe you have like that sense of focus, like when you're sitting down and editing a project and stuff like that.
I also feel like I have the ADD too. It's like, in it, where it's like I want to do other things and I'm like, nope, no, get back into it. It's like I slap myself and I'm like, what are you thinking about? What are you doing? It's like you catch yourself wandering. You know what I mean? Like, but you have to. I think doing any art, you kind of, have to be able to get lost in it. Because then
Mm.
you're really just making stuff and trying stuff and playing around, because any editorial idea, unless you try a couple different things, you're not going to find the real magic. It's like you have to test things and fail a million times, and yeah.
Yeah, totally. And you ever think of like some of like your earliest projects, or even like learning like the editing software, and then blink to what you're working on now and being like, holy fuck, that guy's now working on a Nicolas Cage movie. Like, holy shit. Like,
That was the exact conversation I had with myself, actually. Yeah,
yeah.
it was holy fuck, huh?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And thanking my lucky stars. Dude, it's like every step in like kind of the filmmaking journey, or the LA journey for me, like since 2002, has been like, how did I get here? And then I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, it's that to that to connect to that to that. It's like, and the bottom line has always been relationships. Just like the Nicolas Cage thing was like, a friend of a friend introduced me to the director, Gabe Polsky, and who was looking for an editor after he had shot the movie. And it was a relationship thing. It was like, what I wouldn't have gotten that if my friend hadn't worked with him many many times on many many projects, and he, and we liked each other's work and got along really well. So it really is, you never know where any job or project is going to come from, but you try to make the best with the relationships therein when you're doing the projects, because it's never a short sprint. Like, the people that you're working with now are still potentially going to be in the industry in 20 years, maybe doing other
Mhm.
things or whatever. And and so it's like things can come back around. I mean, and to where it's like, oh, your name comes up and it's a conversation. Oh, wait, you know that person? Oh, yeah, I'd love to work with him again, or whatever that is. It's like, so yeah, really. I mean, it's like you have to kind of build those really, and that's over time. You have to do it, and that's where it's like the short sprint of it. Like, don't treat it as just one project and one that you'll then never think about ever again, because those people will still be going on to other things. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much power in almost like just giving it your all on like every project and making an impression for people too, because like you said, like they'll remember you down the road for other things. And it's kind of cool. Like earlier you're talking about the director of Your Lucky Day, who you also worked on a music video with that I didn't know. And like that was probably like a full circle moment, right? Or
Oh, well, so we did. I mean, the Dan Brown story is a long one because we went to film school together in 2000, and
oh,
so
cool.
we've kind of grown up in the industry together. Outside of the film industry, we were in advertising for a long time, music videos, and so there's like we've kind of seen each other blossom as creatives, both together on projects and separately on stuff. And um, so no, it's that was a dream. Your Lucky Day was a dream project because we also did a short that the film was expanded from in 2010. And
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so like it's like that one's a that one's got some deep roots.
Yeah, that's actually extra cool to hear that layer on it too, because that's the movie out of the two that I got to check out, and I thought it was like just super cool. And just I love like just the building of tension and everything. But like, yeah, for you guys to have that seed like 13 almost 14 years ago, and to bring it to life for like a theatrical release, that's got to just like be a special feeling in your heart in a way, you know?
It's been very special. It's like I'm just like giddy excitement, and then to add on to that, that people are actually like vibing with it and enjoying it, and like and being in a theater with people to watch it. It's like it's like there's always that conversation: is a film a theater? Do I need to go to the theater for a movie, right? Like it, and this is like proven to us, like the theater experience is just so important for especially certain movies. I don't know, like yeah, there are some movies that just great at home, but that communal like thrillers and stuff like that, like I want to see every thriller or horror movie at the movie theater, because it's doing with an audience where people next to you are like shaking in their seats or screaming out in like excitement because something great happens. Like there's just like you can't beat that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, yeah, we've experienced that with this, so it's been fun.
Yeah, that's so cool that you got that experience. Even I got a reminder of that a couple weeks ago. I covered a horror film festival in Toronto, and I was at the
Oh,
theater almost every day watching these films. And it's cool having like the directors there and the actors like watching too. But some of these films, they were like purposely like campy, like slasher films. But the theater was like yelling and cheering and stuff. Like it was like I was like at a sports game. I'm like, yo, I'm so glad I came to this, because I could have sat at home and watched the screeners, but there's something about there being with the audience and just like watching it together and being on this ride, and another layer of them just like being like all like, yeah, get into it if you like something cheer or whatever. And it
it
was
is.
special.
I mean, yeah. I mean, movies are the theater of yore, right? And it's meant to be like when you get humans together in a room, we all start to kind of like vibe on the same frequencies and like and feed off of each other, and so and you realize, oh, you're allowed to laugh, or you're allowed to to scream or whatever it is, and it just becomes fun, like and so there has to I where we've experienced some of that stuff, and it's been fun. I mean, it's just been like it's been a dream come true. I can't get enough of it. I think the film's gonna be out for only like a week and a half, I think, in the Draft House Theater. So it's like I hope people get to see it that way, but I think a majority of everybody's it's gonna be home. But maybe
Mhm.
they'll invite friends to to see it with the
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's crazy how like even like post or like over the pandemic we got conditioned for being at home,
right.
and you even how fast these films get released too. It's like some they're like in the theater and like a week later, like even like some of the biggest ones, they're on demand and you can just watch it like on your computer. But yeah, like you mentioned, like that's not the way to do it. You got to be out
No,
there like with the big screen, the sound, everything.
the 90s, the early 2000s, it's like when movies could still be in a theater, for a very extended amount of time. I mean, you're talking about like months it's in the theater, and then it takes months for them to see it on VHS or DVD. It's
Yeah,
like
sometimes a year or two.
yeah, and you're just like waiting with when is that movie coming going to be on DVD? It was like a whole new, event for the distributors, when it would come out on DVD finally. And yeah, the model is, I mean, it's blown up, right? I mean, the whole
Yeah.
industry is just different in that sense. We're extremely lucky to even be in the theater. I mean, just to even be in the theater is like, whoa, like I mean, especially for a film that size, because I mean, it's an indie. I mean, it's a very, very indie. And but it definitely shoots beyond beyond its weight, and it punches beyond its weight, and so it's very, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dope. And yeah, both these films from Butcher's Crossing and Your Lucky Day, it's awesome that it's getting like this treatment too. Because I notice like sometimes like this industry, it's moving so fast with like content and everything, and it's just like lots of things get lost in the shuffle as well, which like sometimes I'll see something years later and it's like, why haven't I heard about this, but it's just so much with like all the platforms and everything. But yeah, it's cool. Like it seems like both these films are kind of getting a bit of a buzz, and hopefully like yeah, like people sink it in and share them and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard with Nick Cage,
Oh hell yeah.
he is you can't even call him an island. He's a continent onto himself, like, as far as the star power goes. So that, anything that he does, people will, will flock towards. And it's exciting to be a part of that for sure, and uh be a part of his, million film legacy. It's
Yeah.
cool, and
Yeah.
then a film like Your Lucky Day, which is a very small cast, but then has such special performances, from guys like Angus Cloud, rest in
Mhm.
peace. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild, but a pleasure to have worked with these people.
Definitely. And yeah, from watching Your Lucky Day too, like it's no doubt that you're really good at like even like the way you edit to piece together a story too. And do you kind of like, I haven't watched like all your music videos, but do you also approach music videos with like a story based mind, or do you just kind of switch it up for
Oh
the
yeah.
situation? Yeah.
Oh no, everything, no matter what. It's always like kind of like character and story first, even when it doesn't need to be. But it's like, I try to have a bit of a like, what's the thing that the audience is gonna? Because I think for an audience, no matter what, they want to attach to something that then is taking them through, right? If A is not connected to Z in any way, then you don't have to see A. You could just skip to Z. It's like it's nice when there is a bit of a cohesion of thought, and not every video is shot that way. So it's like, but even in the videos that aren't shot that way, I kind of try to find it, but it's not, you do what you can, and for me, I do what I can to kind of like get those things. But sometimes it's just an exercise of just creative, you know blah, you're just kind of letting it all out and having fun on the timeline, and that's its own, you know uh treat, when
Hmm.
it goes around, for sure.
Yeah. And I know you had that holy fuck moment with the Nick Cage thing. Have you ever had that with a band or artist, like on the music side, where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing a video
KoRn
with
was
these?
like, yeah, KoRn was
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, Freak on a Leash, and like they had some amazing, iconic videos that, and then to work with them, and director Andrew Baird's a friend, and it was just, that was kind of a cool, and that was like a crazy one too, because it was like very much like, let's make it just fucked up, right? Like, and crazy, because it was just an exploration in darkness, and getting, sinister.
Oh,
So it was,
nice.
it's kind of I think that was definitely a fun one. Yeah, there's a Arctic Monkeys
Oh,
was cool.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
Arctic Monkeys, I love them. There's just like whenever you get to work with a musical artist that you really enjoy as well, it's just it's kind of, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, KoRn goes back to my teenage years of just
Yeah.
being like just a little aggressive and having that in my ears and just again like those music videos are so iconic and it's so cool that like your name's a part of that as well. And as you were like working through the process, did you get to like talk to the guys at all? Like or...
I was on set for part of that and got to, yeah, meet them and just watch the, production go down, pretending to do work.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But no, it was just a special kind of like uh access, to something that, I think, but it's always, different. I mean, once you see behind the curtain, it's just like, it's like I remember those guys were, they were there, they were serious, getting it done. It's like no
Yeah,
waste of time. Any music video, you have very limited time, very limited money, and so it's like it's just about, getting the day.
yeah, it's a job and time is money on those sets
Oh
too.
yeah.
So people come in and yeah, just try to get it done too. And even like it's so interesting the way like things shifted with just the accessibility to people to become editors. I remember back in the day, you really had to go out of your way. You had to get like a Final Cut or the Adobe programs. And now with like the TikTok generation and everything's on your phone, you can cut, you can learn the basic skills of editing. And I think it's just like interesting the way like people's brains are getting like adjusted to this craft and could lead to other things, if they're having fun making
Uh,
TikToks. Yeah.
yeah, my hope is that editors get a just a small amount more recognition in the film world of like, or just in the, not even in the film world. The film world understands editors, but in like the public world of like, oh, that's what an editor does. Because I think now that most every, under 25-year-old edits a ton on TikTok and social media, CapCut and all these other little softwares that they're using to make these videos, and they're all entertaining. And it's like they're all working. They don't know it, but they're working with pacing. They're working with like little punchline moments, and they're working with like,
Mhm.
they're doing editing without but they understand, and they understand. Oh, this is a, I'm gonna go edit my video real quick, and so like that just the exposure is that much more. So maybe it won't be as much of the invisible art as it has been, over the course of its history. And but because it is a cool thing that where the, the pieces get put together, the story gets made.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a signature question, and I usually say this as like the final question as well, because a lot of different creatives and aspiring creatives do listen to these segments and stuff like that. And maybe to kind of connect with what we were talking about, if somebody's like on their TikTok and just like killing it and just loving it and like wanted to take the first step into like maybe networking into like the music video or film world, like what would you advise them to do to take like the next leap from maybe taking editing as a hobby to making it their profession?
it it always just comes down to, yeah, is someone going to pay you, right, for the work? I mean, and knowing the software is important. So there is certain, because you can't, you can get away with like the more niche softwares of, for a little bit. If like someone's like, hey, I need a little video edited, okay, I can do that, and you give them back a finished thing. But once you get into the more professional realm, you're going to be handing things around to different, to the sound department, to composers, to finishing for color. It's like, so you need to understand how, because it's a very, once you get into the more professional world, it's a much more collaborative, space. You're working with a lot of different people, and you're kind of the middle, you know, person for all those roles. And so, knowing how to export EDLs, knowing how to export, it's like a project for color or for this and that and the other thing. Finding editors that have been doing that and assisting for them, becoming an assistant editor. I mean, that's great. I mean, but like the big softwares are Premiere, Avid, and there's other ones that are kind of creeping up, like Resolve and that you can, and Final Cut is still kind of in the game, but it's not used for as much in the professional world any maybe sometimes, maybe on niche projects, but like I don't hear it, you just don't hear it as much. Like
Yeah.
I grew up on Final Cut. I was work Final Cut 3 to 10 or to 7, and then they just,
Same. They fell off somehow.
yeah,
I don't know what happened.
that was a turning point for me because I was like, I had put all my eggs in that software basket, and I was like, what? Well, wait, how do I do my job? Like, and so I was like, I got to learn everything. And so I learned, I worked on Premiere more. I worked on Avid more. And like both of those films that I worked on were where I cut in Avid. And it's just like, know that once you know the softwares, they get out of the way, and now you're just doing the art. You're just trying to put the thing together, and you're not having to think about the tool that you're using, the paintbrush you're using. You're just able to paint. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Well said, and thanks for that little tip for any aspiring editors out there. And just want to let you know, like, we're going to continue to share like some clips of this interview as like there's different releases around like Your Lucky Day and Butcher's Crossing, and keep the word out about those films. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Yeah, you too. And yeah, Your Lucky Day comes out today, so it's in theaters.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna make a post because I have no time to edit this interview, but they'll definitely like hear about that next week as well. And yeah, again, like thank you so much, and hope you have a great day.
Thank you for your time, and yeah, talk to you.
Cheers.
Boom! Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Nick. That was a fun talk, and as a fellow video editor, I feel like I probably could have had a 5-hour episode with him. So many things to talk about, and yeah, but I always like to respect the time that has been given to me from the wonderful PR people who send me these awesome guests. Much love and respect. This interview was recorded weeks ago, and we'll give you all the updates on how you can watch Your Lucky Day and Butcher's Crossing in the info section of wherever you're listening to this episode or watching this episode on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're almost monetized. I need a few more of those subscribes, and that would help me out a lot. And speaking of people who help me out a lot, we can't leave without thanking all you legends on the Patreon page. First up, Mike Carniello of the Testing with Mike YouTube channel. If you're into technology, electronics, how they work, and most importantly, how to fix them, check out Testing with Mike on YouTube. Another big thanks to the lovely Amanda McKnight. Beyond being one of the hosts of the famous YouTube channel Top 10 Nerd, talking to millions of subscribers, Amanda McKnight has her very own YouTube channel that is such a good vibe, and I totally recommend. You can find it by just typing in Amanda McKnight, and it's a fun space for anybody who's into comic books, video games, films, much more, and all things nerdy. That's Amanda McKnight on YouTube. Also, a big thanks to the wonderful Jenny Potter, the legendary Devin McBride, Ryan frickin' Campbell, my favorite soul singer, Saber, and last but not least, Francis Coffer, aka my mom. If you want to support the show, get a shout out at the end of every episode, and also get these episodes early, raw, uncensored, uncut, right when I'm done the Zoom call. I just post them. You can go to patreon.com/The Creative Imbalance, and beyond having my forever thanks, you can just go to bed at night and sleep soundly, knowing you're a badass motherfucker who supports raw, uncut, independent media, and nobody can take that away from you. You hear me? With that being said, we're dropping a lot more episodes over the holidays. I got so many recorded, kind of building up a backlog, and I feel bad for not releasing them, but you get busy. I got sick. I got COVID again. we're not gonna go down that road, but I'm venting right now. But anyways, I love you, and I'll catch you real soon. Cheers.